This winter has been an unusual one. Normally by now we'd have at least a few inches of snow and temperatures down around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. But this year we've had more mud than anything. The warmer weather has allowed us to catch up on projects and spend more time in the mountains than we normally would for this time of year. We've also been enjoying getting to know our new horse, Taz, and taking him out on a few rides. On our last mountain ride, we noticed some things that had us concerned he might be dealing with some physical pain. So we decided to have him checked out before continuing his riding. But we'll get to Taz in just a bit. First, we need to finish up our morning chores, and then we're heading out to a property of ours that you guys haven't seen yet.
Road trip. We are heading down the road today. We're going for a little drive. We're going to take you guys and show you our little property that we bought when we first moved out of Swan Valley. We had some money and we wanted to invest it in land, so we bought a little half-acre lot with a really cool view. So that's where we're heading now. We got the dogs in the back, fed the equines, and we're going on a little road trip. So here we go. What we want to do today is we actually, even though it's January, we want to plant some seed. So we got some crested wheatgrass and we got some homesteaders mix because there's not any water on this property. So we're going to go plant some grass seed so that this spring it'll be really pretty. And there was also a bunch of old farm equipment on it when we bought it. And it belonged to the neighboring ranch. There's a big ranch down in that country. And they were just using it for storage for all their junk. And I think they cleaned it off. We talked to the foreman, super nice guy, and he said they'd get it cleaned up. So we're going to head down there and check it out.
There's a good chance that on the way down we'll see some wild horses in this area. There's a small HMA of Mustangs, and we plan on the way home, taking some footage for you guys to see what the Mustangs look like around this part of the world. There were a lot of pronghorn antelope when we pulled up to our property. They migrate into this area during the winter months, and it's always pretty special to see them out here. Even though this property is small, it's absolutely stunning. We've talked about building a small vacation cabin on this lot, and it's still something we might do in the future. It's just too small to keep our equines here full time. If it were bigger, we'd move over here in a heartbeat. We found this property off market and were able to buy it for a very reasonable price. With no mortgage on the lot, we've been holding on to it while we fix up our other place. We do want to plant some pasture seed, so this spring we can fence it, mow it, and get it looking a little nicer for summer. We'll probably have power brought down to the property this year as well. It could end up being a really fun spot for us to bring the horse trailer, camp, and enjoy the country with our equines, especially if we end up moving to another state someday.
We have a mix from Great Basin seed. We're not sponsored. We just use them for all our reseeding because we like them. We got Homesteader's Choice, which is buffalo grass, western wheatgrass, blue grama, side oats grama, and sand drop seed. And then, so we got 5 pounds of that, and then 10 pounds of just western wheatgrass. And it should all grow pretty well with our low water here. So this is kind of fun. Gonna plant some seed and then wait till spring. That look like a farming version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Well, got all the seed spread on our little lot down here, and it's all cleared off. The foreman said he was going to clear it off, and they got all the garbage off of it, and it's really pretty down here. There's a few houses have gone in since we were here last. Nice little cabins, and we think it'd be fun to someday maybe put in power and a well and septic and just build a really cool little one-room cabin down here looking up at the beautiful mountain view. So I'm winded from spreading all that seed, but that was a fun way to start the day. Now we'll go spend some time with the horses and mules. It's beautiful here. Bunch of antelope off in the distance. Alyssa probably already talked about those, but they're out there just little white specks running around, and it feels good. Got the seed spread. We've been wanting to do that for quite a while, and we lucked out and had dry weather, and so got it done this year. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like in the springtime when it starts coming up. Gonna have the best lot in the neighborhood.
We were able to spot quite a few bands of wild horses. This one in particular was pretty close to the road, and it was definitely the largest out of all of them. So we were able to pull up and get some footage of them for you guys. A few of these horses we recognize from seeing them in the past. They don't round up this particular HMA very often. It's not a very large one, and the carrying capacity for this area is only a couple hundred horses. This mare's colt was almost as big as her. You could tell she was clearly bred back and probably going to have another foal this spring. Wild horses wean their babies in a much different way than we do in our domesticated world. I am so excited for when I can adopt another wild Mustang. We saw a little coyote on our way back. He didn't stick around too long, but I did get a little footage of him. Our new horse Taz is doing well. We brought him home about 8 weeks ago from our neighbors, who felt we would be a good fit for him after he developed some anxious behaviors. Taz is a 7-year-old, 16 one-hand gelding, mostly Quarter Horse and Appaloosa, and he's registered with the Blazer Horse Association. We've only taken Taz on 2 mountain rides so far. He needed to gain some weight, and we wanted to give him time to settle in since he's naturally anxious. On our last ride, though, he showed signs that made us wonder if there might be some underlying pain contributing to his behavior. He has run off with his previous owners and can get very agitated under saddle. While we do our best to learn about a horse before bringing them home, we can't know everything. Taz's behavior had me considering possible issues like a bean, bladder or kidney stones, ulcers, back pain, or even a neurological problem. Since he can't tell us if he's in pain, we decided to have our vet give him a thorough exam before continuing his training. We'll take you along on our vet visit from last week. Good boy. Good boy. Literally no one cares that Taz is gone. He whinnies and they don't even look up. Poor Taz. No one loves him.
We love him.
They're like, what? Who? Yeah. It's the outcast. Poor guy. My biggest concern with Taz was if he had a bladder stone. Bladder stones can grow quite large and cause some major issues. Bladder stone surgery can also cost upwards of $10,000 by the time they are recovered. While we would do what was needed for Taz, that would put a very large dent in our equine emergency fund we have set aside. There is definitely a possibility that all of this behavioral stuff is just mental with Taz, but we want to do our due diligence and make sure he's not in any pain. If he's in pain, it's definitely not going to help his training. With the sedation kicked in, we're going to start with an ultrasound on his bladder. This has to be a transrectal ultrasound, but thankfully the vet didn't find anything wrong with his bladder. There was no sludge, stones, and his bladder was a normal size, which means he's able to empty it completely. His kidneys also looked good. Just to be on the safe side, our vet decided to do a catheter just to make sure there was no blockages up in his urethra that we couldn't see on the ultrasound. This gave us a chance to empty his bladder completely and look at it and also do a urinalysis to make sure that it all looked good, which it did, thankfully. We also did a blood test on Taz and everything came back normal. All his kidney functions were good. We took several x-rays to make sure that there was no spinal cord compression or anything like that. Our vet did not think that this was a neurological issue. Taz is built very straight up and down in the back end, and that could be where some of his movement is coming from. He did not feel like Taz had any back pain. From what he could tell, he didn't have any stifle or hock pain. He tested his hooves, and his hooves seemed great. He has plenty of sole depth. Our vet also examined his teeth, and all looked good there. So overall, we still don't know if Taz is in any pain, but we'll share with you guys a couple ideas we have going forward. Even though Taz is new to our herd, we don't take equine ownership lightly. When we bring a horse or mule home, we take full responsibility for their care and do whatever is needed for each one. While our hope is to help Taz become a great horse for someone else one day, we also care for him very much and don't want him to be uncomfortable. We knew going into this purchase that he was a very anxious horse, but now that we understand him a little better, I feel like we have a solid plan moving forward. How's it, man? Where are you going? Hi, buddy. Hi, big guy. How are you? How are you? You good today? You need your little braids redone. Yeah, you need your little braids redone. There your nose. Since horses can't tell us exactly what's wrong, one of the things we're going to do is give Taz a fairly strong dose of painkillers for the next 2 weeks. With his kidney function coming back normal, we don't have to worry about putting any extra stress on them. The idea behind this is simple. If Taz's behavior under saddle improves significantly while he's on the painkillers, and then falls apart once he's off of them, we'll know that pain is playing a role in his anxiety. If we don't see much of a change, then it's more likely that Taz is dealing with a mental anxiety issue and learned behavior that we'll need to continue to work through. While these painkillers can help give us some insight, we also have to be mindful that they can mask pain caused by ulcers and may even flare ulcers up if they're already present. The closest clinic to us that can scope for ulcers is about 2 hours away, which is something we're keeping in mind as we move forward. Check these out, Taz. Ah, I don't have any more. I don't have any more of that. Check these out, though. These are good for scruffling you. Does that feel nice? How does that feel? Kind of like a little massage. Okay, good.
Let's see what you got.
Got little grooming gloves. Like a little curry for your hands. I haven't used them a whole lot, but Taz seems like a good candidate. Oh, yeah. That's very nice, huh? Mm-hmm. So far, no kicking. We'll see once the saddle's on.
I saw one earlier.
One already?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's kind of keep track of that mentally. How many kicks do we got?
How many kicks to the center of Taz's brain?
I've had multiple people comment on how heavy my saddle must be, but I don't want to slam it on him, so I always throw it up and then just set it on. It's not that heavy of a saddle, but apparently me being careful makes it look heavy or something. But gosh, I don't want to just fling it up there and just clunk it right on their back. That seems rude. So it's not that heavy of a saddle.
You were saying you look weak, I think.
Apparently, I just look weak.
So Thelma knew.
Yeah. Yeah. I could fling it up there a lot easier. It's just courtesy to my equines that I don't want to thunk it on them. Oh boy, buddy. There's some kicking. I don't go on Facebook very often, but the other day I saw a post. Someone was asking which way everyone does their cinches. If you are the kind that goes through the holes or if you do the Texas T. And it was good to see how many people said both. I'm not alone. So that's my favorite. I do both, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's added security. But another question we got too, if someone was asking, when we go to cinch up, it looks like our cinches are still loose. And wouldn't that cause an issue when we go to get on? But we don't cinch up super tight right away. We cinch up usually 3 to 4 times before we get on. So I want to cinch up tight enough that it's going to hold the saddle on, especially on younger horses that might move around a lot more. And then I'll, as I move them around and just get other things set up and ready, I'm going to cinch it up a couple more times. But I don't like to try to just cut them in two right away and kind of cause them to have a bad habit of bloating out when you do that. And even on one that has already got that habit, it's nice for them if you don't just suck it into their belly and you give them a chance to kind of relax into that. I relate it to putting your belt on in the morning. I don't see anyone put their belt on in the morning and literally just crank it over as tight as they can get it. And your horse doesn't want to do the same thing. Don't be nippy. So far, even though, and we're at his like home environment at this point, but he is basically the same on the painkillers so far. He's still doing his little kicking maneuver. So we'll pull hair today and test him for the 6-panel DNA test to see if he has any muscle myopathies or anything like that. But the vet didn't think so. He didn't think there was anything neurological. He could have ulcers. We're just going to treat him for ulcers. We were debating scoping him, and in the future we might make that choice. But we've already ordered him some Ulcer Guard and some feed-through supplements. So we're just going to treat him as if he has ulcers and see if that helps him out. But moving forward, as far as the training portion of this goes, I'm not sure Taz, his old owners were very nice to him, but I don't think the trainer ever really gave him a chance to have an opinion on anything. And then I think when he was used, after he came back from the trainers, he was ridden up in the mountains and stuff, and I know they didn't ride him a whole lot. So I don't think he's ever really had a chance to kind of decompress with someone on his back. And so we're just going to take it super slow with him. Like right now he's letting out a bunch of stuff just from putting the saddle on. So we're probably going to take him up in the round pen and work on standing still the mount, getting on him, and probably maybe walk around a little bit. And that might be all. And then we'll come back and we'll let him stand here for a minute and then untack him. And just try to get kind of a new process in his brain that people being on his back are not going to hurt him. They're not going to ask him to just do a bunch of crazy maneuvers and go from there. And we'll just kind of, as we feel Taz is ready, we'll add a little bit more. Maybe we'll add a trot. Maybe we'll ride him for a little bit longer. Maybe we'll go out in our field. But we'll kind of add like one stimulus at a time and just see how he handles that. So this is really good. He's not pawing. He's not kicking. He's yawned a bunch. He came down and now he's just standing there. So we'll just kind of go at Taz's pace and not rush the process and let him do this as much as he needs. We want him to feel good about his life. And right now he's feeling good about his life. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. You're good, buddy. You're good, buddy. No one's going to be mean to you. No one's going to make you do stuff. Yeah. I'm going to tighten up your cinch again, though. And while I'm tightening the cinch and everything, I am keeping in mind, like, does he seem to have, some pain involved with this, if he did have ulcers. So I'm trying to keep all that in mind and just pay attention to all his little things he does. Good boy. There we go. So now we're just going to let him work through this again. When horses yawn, lick, and chew, it's often a sign of their nervous system is shifting into a calmer state. These behaviors are linked to the release of dopamine and the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for rest, relaxation, and processing information. You'll usually see this after a horse has worked through something mentally or emotionally. It's their way of releasing tension, resetting their system, and showing that they feel safer and more relaxed in the moment. Whether there's pain or just a lot of emotional baggage tied to a saddle and a rider, Taz is really working through a lot of stuff right here. What Taz needs to do is figure out how to kind of rewire his brain to where he can come down on his own when he gets really amped. I don't think he's really been taught the skills to deal with his anxiety, so that's what we're going to start working on here. So anytime he can come down like this, that's great. We're just going to let him do it because he needs to figure out how to self-regulate his own emotions, especially with a rider on his back. Rooster. Oh my gosh. That's one thing people don't understand about horses. They call horsing around for a reason. Rooster got kicked in the elbow. Like, a lot of times they don't mean to hurt each other. They're just playing. But sometimes they play a little rough. So, but we're not going to separate them all from each other. They need that herd dynamic. So you hope they don't get hurt. You hope they make good choices. But sometimes things happen. Yes, are you ready to go up in the corral? Are we going to lick you? Don't try to lick me. Uh-huh. I have no treats for you. No. Watch your face. So his little kick there to tells me we might be on the right track with ulcers. He's not being super cinchy, but that was definitely not super comfortable for him. So that's something we'll keep in mind. Taz was trained with a lot of Clinton Anderson methods. We don't use those methods. And so everything when he was a 2-year-old getting started was kind of fast-paced. A lot of hard turns and a lot of quicker circles and fast backing and stuff like that. And I want him to move his body correctly, but it doesn't necessarily need to be quickly. I would rather him be mentally checked in than just kind of rolling back and doing things at a high rate of speed. One more. There you go. Nice. Let him think on that one.
I'm going to cut out quite a bit of time I spent just giving Taz space to think today, since that part can be pretty boring to watch for most people. I try to adjust my approach to each horse based on what they need, and as I get to know Taz better, I can continue to tailor my training to support him in the best way possible. As Taz and I continue to learn more about each other, our partnership will keep growing. He's already gotten better about respecting my space and not being pushy. I did have to get a little firmer with him at first, but with clear, consistent boundaries in place, we can keep building a healthy relationship.
I'm going to pull my saddle horn just a little bit because I want him to rock against it and make sure that he's nice and balanced before I go to get on. And this is the part that starts making him pretty anxious. So we'll see how he does today. So you can see already I haven't even gone on him yet. He's already having a hard time keeping his feet still. Have him stand up and balance. There we go. Nice. Good boy. Let's see if he can stand. I'm going to get on Taz and I'm just going to sit here. And I'm just going to pet him. And that already is a lot better. Since he came here, he couldn't stand him out. But he's gotten better. And now I'm just going to get off of him. I'm not going to ask him to go. He's expecting us to start working. And I'm going to do what he doesn't expect, which is just get off. And I'm just going to leave him alone for a second. And see his little process with that. Hey, what are you doing? You stealing my hat? A nice soft blinks. So all the while we're making a mental note of how Taz is right now in this situation on painkillers. And once he comes off the painkillers, if he's been doing this the entire time, and then as soon as we stop giving them to him, he changes,
then we'll know, okay, there's definitely some pain involved. Could be pain from ulcers, which we'll start treating him for. Probably breathing in the microphone. Don't eat the microphone. He's really into that. I'm sure the audio's great. So this doesn't tell us definitively at all if he's in pain or not, because this is a very different situation than what he was in the other day up in the mountains. It was real windy. There's a lot going on. But we can let this be kind of our control now. And they said once we take him off the pain meds, does he get a lot worse. So it's even me like getting ready to mount. This is causing him some anxiety. And then once he starts going, he's kind of like, oh, I need to move. What do I do? It's like he works himself up into his own frenzy. So I'm just gonna wait on him here. There, now he's blinking again. So his eyes went really starey there for a minute. And now he's blinking. So start again. Make sure he's standing. He's standing good. See if he can stand to mount. Ready? We'll just stand here for a second. Good boy. And we're just gonna walk. See how little it takes to get him to walk. And I'm not gonna ask him to do much. I just want to get him walking.
While we don't have an equine chiropractor close by, chiropractic care is something that could potentially help Taz. He has been adjusted in the past, and it's something we may consider again in the future. He does hold his tail up in an interesting way, and it could just be something that he does.
Oh, it's very solid over here. Good job. Pretty frozen over there and pretty lumpy. So I just want him to be able to relax, add a walk with me sitting on him. That shouldn't be too hard. For Taz, it is. Just gonna add in a nice little turn here. I just want to avoid where it's really rock hard over there. If he wants to stop, I'm gonna let him. Because his biggest thing is he just wants to go faster and faster and faster and faster. So I'm happy if he wants to stop. Okay, see how much it takes? This is the one thing I like about Taz. There, I had to barely use my calves. He's very light.
As boring as this ride might look, I think Taz really needs a lot of low pressure rides to learn that having a person on his back doesn't always mean he's going to be put under stress. Eventually, he'll need to learn how to handle stress in a healthy way, but right now he has very little in the way of coping skills when his anxiety starts to rise. For now, taking a step back and respecting his thresholds is what we're going to focus on, so we can help him build confidence without overwhelming him.
Good boy. I like that. It's blowing out. So far, this isn't too stressful, even with all the hound dogs sounding off over there. Good boy. He wants to come stop near the cameraman. We're gonna avoid where it's concrete over here, buddy. It's a little bit lumpy and muddy. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna sit first, ask him to stop. Nice. Taz is gonna be a really, really cool horse when he gets his anxiety stuff figured out, because he is so willing and he's so sweet and he's very sensitive, which has made him into this anxious mess. But also, if we can get that part sorted out, he's super sensitive, which means he's going to be really responsive. And we like to think of equines as what they can become, not what they are right now. And so I'm really excited for him when he gets this figured out. Okay, I'm gonna flip this lead rope over his head. We're gonna go the other way. And this is what we do on a colt. Good boy. And at this point, we're just gonna treat Taz kind of like a colt. Good boy. Just gonna go on. Even though he really doesn't know much for leg cues and stuff, he really rides off of body weight nice. He's just so sensitive. Lumpy, huh? Yeah. Good job, buddy. Nice. And since riding out in the mountains is a little bit too much for him to handle, it's nice to have some parameters to keep him centered. He's gonna eat that. And I don't have to worry about him getting elevated and running off and potentially falling on me like I do in the mountains. Just trying to see if when he stops, if he ends up trying to pee. We got his limp figured out. He had a lot of pressure on that toe when we trimmed his feet. Tried to get him a little more balanced, and he's not limping like he was when he first came here. He just had a little bit of a offness to his gait, but it's looking good now. So I'm gonna let him stop here. I'm gonna sit, breathe out, nice. There we go. That's awesome. I'll just let him come down here a little bit with me up here, and then I'll step off, and that's probably all we'll do with him today. And we'll just keep making these little rides a little bit longer. Eventually we'll ask for the trot a little bit, and we'll just kind of test the waters while he's on these pain meds, and just make mental notes on how he's doing. And then as soon as he's off the pain meds, we'll just do the same thing. Pick up where we left off when he was on the pain meds and just see if there's a big difference or not. Got a little distracted here. Good. So we're just trying to reprogram his little brain that someone up on his back is not a bad experience. It's not going to be painful, it's not going to be stressful. It can be nice and enjoyable for him and comfortable. My microphone. There we go, there's a little bit. No, trying to urinate. So that's good. There was a couple times he kind of stopped and it felt like he was sort of stretching, but he never tried to pee. But he did feel like he was a little bit like, not big guy.
I'm really excited to see the horse Taz can become. I truly think we're on the right track with him, and I know he's going to turn into a really cool horse.
Well, there's a couple things to keep in mind. One, he's on pain meds. Two, we have started him on a pretty low grade ulcer feed through already, and we've got some better stuff coming in the mail, but he's already had a little bit of that. So that'll be interesting to see, you know, if the ulcer medication seems to help him. I did notice, you know, he lifted his leg a couple times while I was cinching him. So that could be an indication definitely of ulcers. He's not really like super, I wouldn't call him super cinchy, but he definitely showed a little discomfort there or some annoyance. So just something to keep in mind. We didn't ask him for a whole lot, so, you know, probably a better test as far as if the pain meds were helping would have been to take him back out to the same spot we did last ride and see. It's not as windy today, you know, but I mean, that maybe would have been a better test. But like I said, I want to focus on his brain as well as his body. So we're just going to start doing this stuff. And then instead of like seeing if the pain meds right now are helping, we'll see if once he's off the pain meds, if he starts having more problems than doing just this nice slow work. So he feels pretty good about his life. He never got to the point where he was really amped and stressed out. And so that's perfect. We just want to have a lot of these little pleasant experiences for Taz and just kind of get those stacked up and see if that helps him learn some new coping skills and just kind of have a reset to his little anxious brain. So we're going to go ahead and take the saddle off. I'm going to pull some hairs. I'm going to try to do it gently. And then, yeah. You're done. You're all done. Good, Mace. Oh, yeah. So there's Tazzy's mane hair. Want 20 to 40 hairs and try to get some roots on there for sure. And then don't touch the roots, it's really important. So I'm gonna go inside real quick and put these on the form so I can mail them off to UC Davis and they can do a 6-panel test, a DNA test to see if he has anything there genetically wrong with him that could be causing some issues. And we also got the leopard complex test, see if he's got any copies of that. And then we also have a gene or a done gene color test as well, just to see if he's got any done factor, which he looks like he does, so we're curious. But anyway, that'll be pretty fun. So we're gonna go put this away so I don't accidentally touch these roots and get that sent off to the lab. It'll take a little while for us to hear back, but we'll share the results with you guys on what he came back with as far as his DNA test and then also his color test, his genetic color test. So that should be pretty fun. Huh, buddy? You did really good, buddy. Yeah, you're a good boy. It looks better. I feel better. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and coming along on Taz's journey with us. We appreciate all the support. And we'll keep sharing his progress as we work to help him become a calm, confident horse. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.